Welcome to the Wild Remedies podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Ancora, and I'm here to bring you captivating stories from some of the most fascinating people I've connected with on my own journey of physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired. Hello, beautiful friends, family. Welcome to the last episode of the Wild Remedies podcast. But don't worry, we're going to be back. We'll be back. We are working on a new season. So we're taking a bit of a pause for the summer and we're rebranding. So there is going to be a whole new season of this podcast that will be launching in September. We already have incredible guests lined up, and we will be revealing a new name, new incredible partners that we're working with, all kinds of really exciting stuff, including some new products that I have been working on. Now, these are likely going to be under a whole other new brand. And for anybody who has been listening to this podcast over the last couple of months or so, you've probably heard me allude to the fact that some stuff is changing in one of the businesses that I own. And for anyone that has been guessing, yes, it is with Wild Remedies. I'm still not able to share all the details yet. And I think that's probably going to be the topic of the first episode of the next season in September. So make sure you tune into that one because I'm going to be dishing it all. It has been a wild fucking ride, you guys. So wild. And I'm actually so proud of myself and so proud of my team and just so grateful for the incredible community that I have around me, because the process that I've been going through would probably, ruin a lot of folks. And I feel like I've handled it really well. And I actually feel so much freedom and so much excitement. Like to be honest, I haven't been this happy in a really long time. It's crazy. And if you follow me on social media, on Instagram, and if you haven't yet, check me out. My handle is magic.maven, MAGICK. You'll see that I have been creating in a less commercial way and a more crafty, do I want to say it? I don't know. I've been wild crafting a lot, and I've been making some really cool potions and things that I have just been feeling so connected to. And I know a lot of people have been really curious about all of the stuff that I'm making. So there may or may not be offers for you to potentially try out some of these products in the new season here. So just going to put a little bug in your ear about that. Now, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about that. I don't think so. I think that's it for now. So yeah, episode 1 is going to be more of a reveal of what has kind of been going on in the background, the process that I've gone through, the takeaways, what's coming next, because there's so much exciting stuff happening. I've had huge downloads, I'm literally in a process right now in my astrology called mission realignment and release in advance to heavy duty cycles. And I kind of saw it coming and I was like, no, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And it truly was. It's like a once in a lifetime thing. But I have to say that it is aligning me to more of my true purpose and what I am here for. And I'm so excited to share all of that with you guys, but I'm still in the process of figuring out what that is. I'm getting deeper and deeper glimpses into that now. For, a few months, I was literally just swimming in mud, being like, I have no idea what's next. Like, I don't even know what my purpose is, like what is going on, but it's slowly starting to take form. And the energy around it has been absolutely incredible. And so one of the biggest things that I've discovered is that I love, love, love the community that's being built here with this podcast. And thank you. Thank you so much if you're listening, for showing up. This is something that we've always done. We've produced it. It costs money to make this podcast, but, we don't have any sponsors or anything at this time. We're just kind of advertising our products over at Wild Remedies. And I wasn't really sure what the purpose is, or what the purpose was of it, other than to kind of bring some awareness around our brand. But I see it as something so much more powerful. Like the amount that I've learned, the people that have reached out, and with gratitude for what they've learned from the amazing guests that we've had on here, and just broadening even my network, I feel, of all these really incredible healers and just super fucking rad people. I mean, you guys have been listening to the podcast. There's so many rad people that we've had on here, and I'm like, we got to keep this going. So we are, and it's already coming together so beautifully, and I'm so excited. I haven't decided on a new name yet for the podcast. There's one that's swimming around in my head, but I might do a little poll or something on Instagram. So if you want to be part of that process, again, just make sure to follow me. That's the only place that I post on right now. I just can't deal with all the different social media stuff. That's a big part of what I've been learning recently too, is all of the things we're supposed to do in business. I'm just fucking over it. I'm focusing on the things that I love and bring me joy, and that is it. I'm sick of the grind. So that's the only place I'm posting right now. Please come be part of that process, because I do love sharing all my stories and all of those things, and would love your input, because I feel like this is a wonderful community that we're building, and I want the community to be a process of the new thing that we are creating. Okay, so now that that is out of the way, we will be on a break for a couple of months, but we will be back. Super excited. Now, today's guest he's soul family. I met Mike and his beautiful partner, Courtney, a few weeks ago, a month ago. I don't even know. I've been leaving town frequently, just processing all of the stuff that's been happening. And I was in the Kootenays recently, and I went to kind of retreat and escape. And it actually ended up being a very social excursion for me. I met Mike and Courtney at the hot springs there, and they were just like, oh, do you know this person? I was like, yeah, I know this person. And we just quickly connected. And it's one of those things where they're just your people, they're so beautiful. And so Mike facilitates he facilitates men's work, which is something that I deeply feel we need so much more of. Women have so many outlets for connection, and men just don't. And it has a lot to do with our, societal conditioning and all kinds of things. And it's creating so much dysregulation and the inability for us to connect in partnership and all kinds of things. So you're going to get a really good in-depth look into how these men's groups are facilitated, who they're for, how they help, how that helps partnership, how it helps the individual. It's really powerful. It's really beautiful. And I'm so excited because Mike practices and holds space for folks in the Kootenay area as well. And I'm pretty sure he has online offerings too. We'll have all that stuff outlined in the show notes. And so it's great. It's it's local, it's accessible, which I love. And I'm excited to see more of that. We're also going to talk about somatic therapy a little bit too. And it was wild, like almost started crying in the episode because Mike and I both had like a very similar experience of trauma in our last relationships. That just mirrored, oh my God, they were so similar. And as I was like telling him my experience, I was like almost crying. I could see like he was tearing up and I was like, holy shit, like, yeah, relationships that end in abandonment super suck. Super suck. So we get into that a little bit. And a really great tip, because I get this a lot from girlfriends who are in relationship and, you know, they may be going through a period where they're struggling with their man, and this can go vice versa too, or, you know, for other relationships as well. But when you feel like you're doing the work and your partner is not really rising to the occasion, how can we invite them to start doing the work? I asked Mike about that, I think kind of at the end of the podcast, and he had such a great response. So make sure you listen to the end. Okay, so I think I have divulged enough things for now. And yeah, I'm excited to see you guys and chat and all of the things again here in the new season, and excited to reveal all the new things here soon as well. So without further ado, let's get into the last episode of the Wild Remedies podcast with Mike Elliott. I forgot to mention this in the intro, you guys, but I wanted to mention for a very, 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 like so very limited time, we're doing a clearance sale over at Wild Remedies. So if you haven't tried our magic potions yet, or you already love them and you want to stock up, they are 50% off for reasons that, again, I will explain in the new season of the new version of this podcast. But yeah, they are still so delicious and so good for you. We have spiced chocolate, which is our immunity boosting blend. It has 3 servings of wild Siberian chaga mushroom extract. It's the strongest mushroom potion on the market. Like literally the Four Sigmatic stuff isn't even close to like as strong as this stuff is. So just, yeah, make sure you stock up on that stuff. It is amazing for your immune system, and it's really good in the summertime as well. Strawberry rose, just such a beautiful potion for skin health and vitamin C. And then of course, almond lavender dream, our lovely sleepy time potion. And if you're wondering how to prepare these in the summer months, make sure you check out our website at wildremedieshop.com and check out our recipes, because I have a bunch of really rad ways that you can add them to like sparkling waters and make really cool summer elixirs and stuff. Okay, that is the last plug that you're going to hear about that format of those products on this podcast. So this is your last chance. Go check them out.
Hello.
What's up, my friend?
Hey, it's so good to see you.
You too. I've been looking forward to seeing your face.
Yeah, me too.
How are you?
I'm so good.
Good.
Yeah, we just finished recording a podcast episode with Gary and Rob.
Oh, did you? Nice. Yay.
It's so good.
I love, what'd you guys talk about? Like shrimp?
We kind of just, our theme of together, we just kind of explored their relationship.
Yeah.
And like
Oh.
they just actually had their anniversary yesterday, the 16-year anniversary.
Oh, cool.
And so we kind of just explored like, okay, you guys are in partnership together, you know, you create together, you live together, the work you do is in your home, like all that time together, like what are some of the key pieces that you guys have learned in that journey together? Like how do you keep growing and evolving together? It was like, yeah, it was a really juicy one. For us and them. They're like, oh, we've never really explored this terrain. Usually people are asking us about our work and what we offer and how much it is, but like this was, yeah, it was new for them.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, well, I already started recording, so anybody listening to us right now. We're referring to Rob and Gary from The Journeymen, who have been on our podcast a couple of times now. So make sure to listen to this episode now on your, what is your podcast called again? I just started listening to it.
Ours is Together.
Yeah. And it's great. And it's with you and your partner, Courtney, who is just such a sweet soul. I absolutely love her.
Oh, thank you.
And she's just got like, I got to get her on the podcast too. Like she just, her depth of knowledge is just, yeah, she's amazing. I got to get her.
Yeah. She's a wise woman. Devoted to depth. She's Scorpio, and her mission in purpose, generational healing, like trauma healing, and yield the wisdom there.
Totally. Oh man. Well, I'm excited to dig in to your work today.
Yeah, me
more
too.
about that. Yeah. I think so we met in person just a few weeks ago, sitting in the hot springs.
Yeah. Giving me chills.
I know. We were just kind of like chatting, and you're like, hey, do you know Dr. Kevin Preston? And I was like, yeah. It was just like immediate soul fam connection, and ended up hanging out a couple of weeks later at the event recently, which was really cool. But I recognized you prior to that. And I think, I don't know, maybe I came across like your profile or something. And I did recognize something about the men's work thing and you being in the Kootenays. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I'm so glad that that's happening there, because we need more men's work. We do.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah. That just gave me chills, like all the yeses. More men's work, more circles, more brotherhoods. Yeah,
I think brotherhood is like, that's such a potent word, right? Like we hear about sisterhood a lot, right? Women, we're just conditioned to connect and be social, so we do that. And men, over many centuries, have been conditioned to do the complete opposite. And then when you put those two dynamics together in a relationship, it can be really challenging, because one person wants to connect and the other one is like, feelings is wrong, right? Like not supposed to cry, supposed to suck it up, be tough, be strong, all of those things. And I guess that's kind of the container of men's work, is helping guys connect again, right? Like, why don't we talk about a little bit about how you got into men's work? Because I feel like you had like a whole other life.
Yeah. So
yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, it gives me chills. Oh, men's work. It's such a passion of mine. I found men's work, like true men's work, 3 years ago, I'd say. And before that, I've been in like my own personal man work, like me as an individual going into containers. But really, when I joined and found a space where I started to understand what brotherhood is and why would I even want that in my life? I got, like, when I moved to the Kootenays, I got such a download and a reflection back to this place in me of like, wow, I do not have a healthy relationship to the masculine. My pattern's been is I attract a lot of women. Most of my friendships were women. I'm a safe space, and that's what was comfortable and familiar for me. But my leading edge was like, whoa, when I'm like, I get closer near to another man, I just like this energy of competition and threat would like be awoken within me.
Interesting.
And I noticed as I kept experiencing that wave of like fight or survival, I was like, there's something here for me. I got to look at this. I got to work on this. Like, me being in the partnership that I'm in now, being with an empowered feminine and going out into the world, I really had to learn how to navigate this part of me that would want to control, like keep her down. Like, no, stay small so I don't have to feel the feelings that come up when you're engaging with other empowered men. And,
Mm.
the potential of, what my partner does is hold people in really tender spaces. And I found that as such a threat to my attachment system that I remember it wasn't even like a conscious thought. There was just this like wash forward of like, Mike, you need to start a men's group. Like I didn't even know if there was men's work out there. It was just like a whisper in my ear, like, Mike, start a men's group. You need to follow the model of what the women out there have already been doing and are doing so well. So thank you, feminine, for paving the way for us to return back to this ancient wisdom of how much circle is needed to be able to reflect back, grow edges, be held by and held in containers that are just, it goes back eons. Like all these ancient indigenous cultures, this is what they would do. There would be like the women's circle, there would be like the men's circle, and then there would be the unified village, the community where it all comes together. But there's specific places where it's like meant to be in that similar energy to kind of push and grow those edges. That's how I experience it. So it's been about 3 years. I had the vision to start a men's circle, which I did. And it was one of the most profound things I've ever experienced, is just being an initiator of it and taking the learned wisdom through how the women have done it, like what worked, what didn't, and bringing in some really clear banks of like, hey man, like this is the mission. We're here to like grow, be vulnerable, look at the depths of ourselves so that we can show up in a different way for our relationships, and for our communities, for ourselves. Like, let's support each other in this. Like, if this resonates, like, let's go all in, let's do this. And what's ironic is I think it was either the day or the day after this happened, I was out in the world and I ran into another man who was a client of mine. And he was like, hey, I just feel inspired to share. Like, I'm a part of this men's circle in Nelson. Like, you should come check it out. And I was like, what? No way. Like, okay. And I was like so new in this space of like initiating and facilitating a men's circle that was like being birthed through me, that I'm like, yeah, I want to go learn, like, where are the men that are already doing this? This is a thing.
Cool.
And when I showed up, my whole body peeled open to something I had never experienced before. Really powerful, inspiring men that my body actually felt safe with. Like I didn't notice that protective mechanism. I just peeled open. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started. There's so much I could share there, but that's where it all began.
I love that. Okay, so you were already in relationship with Courtney when you started to explore this. Is that correct?
Yeah, totally. Honestly, it's the relationship with Courtney.
Yeah.
And experiencing how much she was gaining from being a part of a sisterhood and a sister circle. Like they would meet every new moon.
Yeah.
And she would come back from these gatherings of sisters a whole different person every time. She'd just be overflowing with love and warmth and generosity and capacity to be like caring and kind and compassionate. Like she just wanted to give so much. And she wanted to share so much. She wanted to create so much. And I was like, oh my God, whatever's happening there, like I need some of that. I need some of that in my life. Like, how do I create that for myself?
And honestly, like, I think so much about like, I love the containers of like women being with women, men being with men, and then also community, right?
Yes.
And, like the event that we were just at, I kind of, we all had like those really glowy vibes afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And I just got back from a trip from the coast where I was just hanging out with really rad people. And when you're around other people that are like-minded and it's like a safe space and you can just be who you are, right? I think that just creates a type of alchemy that heals us, right?
Yeah.
I had so many I've been having so many downloads just because there's been so much community activity lately for me. and the reflections because of the compassion of the other people that I'm surrounded with. And so many of them are like healers and amazing people that I just want to be around with. Like it just levels you up energetically too. And, you know, because if you think about like being in a group with like a whole bunch of strangers, like say you're at like a club or whatever, like you have so many different types of energies and things going on. And like, everyone's not necessarily there for the same reason. And we might all be on like totally different trajectories when it comes to like our healing journey or like, you know, our quote unquote vibes. And we can kind of like clam up or like project or like try to be something different, or, you know, we kind of like mask up in those situations. And in these other containers where everybody is there to be open and to connect with that purpose, it just, yeah, it's really cool. And I feel like in the beginning, it can be a little bit difficult. Like I remember I went through something called conscious relationship training, CRT. It was like this thing that everybody was doing in Vancouver. And I guess a lot of people are still doing that in that community. And that's actually where I started working with, you might know Ben Gorski from Evolving Man.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And Shalana. Yeah. From Rising Woman. They were helping to facilitate at that time with the teacher there, Phil Mistelberger, I believe his last name is. And that was really fucking uncomfortable for me in the beginning. And we did have like, I remember hanging out with Shalana and we did some women's group stuff, which was kind of nice. But like, I was at a point in my healing journey where like, I was low, like it was hard. Like I was not well. I had went through a horrendous breakup a few months prior. All of my stuff had been like really excavated, and it was like, I was just bleeding. Like I was just like a giant gaping emotional wound. And it was so tough. And we were doing hard things like processes where we had men on one side of the room and women on the other, and we're like screaming at each other. And like it was very, you know, Jungian style. Like it was intense. I feel like men's groups and women's groups, you know, can have a different vibe. This was more of like, we're getting into like the deep work kind of stuff. And it was challenging, you know, the eye gazing, like all the things. I'm just like, so uncomfortable, which you guys made us do at the event. Now I love it. But when I first got into it, I was like, oof, this could be like challenging and confronting. But the more you do it, it's just like those layers kind of start to peel back and you become more comfortable. I'm curious, like what goes on in a men's group though, right? Like for some guys, they might just be totally terrified. And I think a lot of times they're introduced to this type of thing by their woman, right?
Yeah,
like,
totally. You need this.
Yeah, I need you to step the fuck up. Yeah. But they're just like, what are you sitting around singing Kumbaya and hugging and like, you know, tell me what you guys get up to in these
events. Yeah. Well, I also just want to speak to the one piece that you said there is that can be a lot of that conditioned way that adds to the terror of the men going into a space like that is, and this is no judgment, this is a part of the evolution of like the feminine that's so lacking what's needed to feel safe and held and protected that she lashes out at the masculine and is like where that judgment can come in of like, what are you going to do? But it's like, really, it's such a gift for the masculine. Even when I hear you share them, like, oh, that's what I live for, is feeling that place where the feminine's like enough of what's happening and playing out. Like, this is not serving connection. Like, I feel like that's the gift of the feminine, is like bringing forward that awareness of like what needs to change for there to be harmony and warmth and love and connection. And so a lot of the work that happens in these men's circle is there's two. So there's the one that I have initiated. It's kind of got a different format. I'll touch that in a second. The one that I'm a part of in Nelson, it's a global organization. Any man who's listening right now can go and start to do some research, find local groups where they can participate. It's called the Mankind Project. And there's a few things that happen. There's an initiation experience that you can go off to. no electronics for 3 days. And it is exactly that. It is an initiation. And that's all I'm going to say. And then what you can come back to are these groups where you show up, and generally it's once a week. Ours is Wednesdays. And we show up and there's a format, there's a structure that we lean into, and there's flexibility within it. So it's based off of archetypes: the the lover, the warrior, the magician, and the king, or also called the sovereign. And the whole night organizes around those archetypes. And so the intention is to spend time in each one of those archetypes. That every man has access to these energies, these archetypes. Being in one of them without the others is where destruction happens. And so this is a playing ground of noticing, like, where am I really familiar and comfortable? Like, oh, cool, I'm like good in warrior, but I can't really touch lover, which would be like, being in the feeling body, vulnerable, like emoting. But this is a playground to work with all of these. So it starts with an opening. We usually, bring in a lot of ancient pieces that are supportive to set the container. So we'll start off with like practical pieces. We do business, and then we go into, calling in directions and, doing a smoke cleanse and like really just grounding all together. And then we usually split off to groups, and then we go through the layers. What's called kinging is really a facilitation role. Anyone can volunteer to practice their sense of leadership, to facilitate how the evening's going to go. Cool. And so then we start with lover. So lover, once we've opened the container set, it's intentionally, we're all there together. We're committed for that whole period of time. Doors are locked. It's time to sink into it. We move into lover. Lover is like, where everyone has the ability and the space to be felt, heard, and seen, which really is like the foundation to healing. A lot of these younger parts that we all live with, or many of us we all live with, like these past wounds and hurts that we carry on into our life and can kind of create a little bit of mess, these patterns in relationships. It's like pushing away love, and it's just like, it being really clunky and painful. This is a space to share everything that's emerging from the heart. This is a place where, men can really share things they've never had the freedom or the safety to share. And be reflected back that they're seen and heard. It's not a conversation. Each man speaking has their space and their time, and it goes around in a circle. And somebody who is a mentor to me in men's work described it in a really beautiful way. The whole evening and the whole container of us meeting in this men's work is a spiral into more intensity. We start with safety, softness, and opening, and then it just gets a little bit more intense. And so then we shift into warrior. Warrior is where we practice like being accountable to ourselves, to the men in that group, and to our greater community. That's a place where, we can do stretches, which is like, really checking in with each other, like what's a growth edge. For me, in the past, it's been like, I really want to implement breath work into my life. I really want to implement, working out more regularly. Well, I can speak that to the circle and then have somebody check in with me and hold me accountable. And then also in that round, we go through charges. So we work through energy that's just kind of been like coming up in our life, and it's an opportunity to run process. And there's so much more in there, but really it's a place to work into the next layer of safety. And so once we move out of warrior, then we go into magician. Magician is where process work happens. There's a whole list of processes that can be run where it's working with material that's impacting how we can really show up. Really, how I see it from my lens is evolve from a boy and grow into a man. And so this process gets those really young parts that did need something at some time, at some point of the development, and it's having them held in the way that was needed so the nervous system can effectively evolve and mature on its own every one of us lives with that wisdom within us to move towards health. Like it's there if the right space and relational container is there. So that's what happens in magician. And then we move into sovereign king. Sovereign and king is really a way to cap the night. Like every night, God, I've been going for a while now, and it's every night is always so different. Who shows up, what they bring, what it touches on, how something's held is always so different. And then so sovereign is a place where we really get to practice this ground to, shower other men with gold, share what they're walking away with into their families, into their lives that they didn't have previous to showing up. And that's the flow of that circle. And the other circle that I initiated, it's a lot of my really close like local community members. It's kind of where our families are tighter. And without going into too many details, that one's more I usually facilitate breathwork. We do some deep processing with that modality, and then we go into a lot of sharing, a lot of space holding, and then a lot of like supporting each other's visions, and like how to bring that out into the world.
I love that so much. And I love those structures. It's so cool. What a cool process.
And just the name too, it's like there's the structure that's like kind of concrete, and the neat thing about it, and this is what I find is so valuable within this too, is whoever decides to move into that king role and start to facilitate, they get to practice their own version and expression of themselves of how they want to lead. So, like it may be spending more time in one of the areas than the other, like maybe, there's just the inspiration that comes through, and it's always really cool to see how different people lead with who they are, what message or story they come with, which is really cool to see.
I love this. Just like, is there a certain type of man that usually gets led to this type of work? Like,
good question.
Who is this for exactly? Because I mean, I think it's for everybody. But I can think of like certain examples. So like, I know right now in our society, like there's so many different things that are plaguing men, and I want to get into that with you. But for example, like I know one individual right now who I see really, really struggling, moved towns to, the city that I'm currently living in right now. I think hoping to leave the old life behind, and that a bunch of new stuff would kind of like open up. But it really seems like a situation where there's just a huge lack of purpose, lack of purpose and direction, and clinging to a lot of female relationships, right? And kind of like emotional dumping. And then portraying a lot of, self kind of abusive behaviors in terms of like partying and sleeping in really late and all of these things that are kind of contributing to depression and all of these things. And this is just super common, right? Like this is just really common in our society right now. We've been collectively just through like, a nightmare for a lot of people over the past 3 years, depending on like your perspective and like how you participated in all of that. It could have been extremely isolating and very difficult. And I think we're still processing that, or like just beginning to really. But yeah, it's like he's definitely not in his masculine, right? And I know like I'm suggesting, I'm like, man, like you should really look into men's work. I think it would be so helpful. And it's kind of falling on deaf ears, or it's just like, oh, no, I'm fine, just gonna kind of continue doing what I'm doing. And I mean, that's really all you can do is just introduce it. But like, is that generally what you see is like guys that get referred by women, or like, is there a certain archetype that you generally see come through the door, or is it kind of like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's such a good question. And I feel like there's a few different avenues that men end up finding the men's work. And it's really
Yeah.
cool to see is totally. There's the women out there that are like, you need something, buddy. Like, and I feel like how I would describe it and witnessing it is like, and I don't want to speak for the women, but just from what's been shared is like the women fed up of like, man, I'm like relating with a little boy here. Like
Mm.
this is I'm not going to be your mom. It's like when the woman finds her power,
Yeah.
like what I call that wild woman,
Yeah.
that fierce feminine, and she's like, I'm not going to mother you. This is done. I'm over this.
Yeah.
You're like, if you want to go deeper into life with me, you need to get support, and it's not from me.
Mm-hmm.
So there are the men that come through that avenue of like the feminine really encouraging, like kicking his ass into the door, like it's time to go, buddy. And then they once they show up, they're like, oh, okay, like this is something.
Yeah.
And then, so that's one way. Another way is, this is, I'd say, been my path, is unconsciously playing out my patterns that come from my lineage, from how I grew up, what I was modeled and not modeled,
Mm-hmm.
and then that playing out in a really painful ending.
Mm.
So I was previously married, and it was just one day my wife at the time just walked in and said, yeah, we're done. And I was like, what? There was no conversation leading up to it. It just brought me to my knees. It was my biggest fear and my deepest core wound of like my biggest fear, because I've been adopted twice within the first year of my life. So the core wound that I live with is weakness, and the terror that somebody who I love and rely on would leave me.
That abandonment.
Which
Yeah.
I ended up manifesting because I was so afraid of the abandonment that I end up creating the scenario that's kind of controlling. It's just not healthy. And so, and it's a dynamic. It's both parts that play this out. And so I remember like the moment that happened and it landed of like, oh my God, she's leaving. I literally fell onto my kitchen floor and cried like a little baby. And what's so interesting about that is my body was reliving the trauma I was so afraid of that was actually impacting my behaviors. And it was like for a moment for me to take in. I remember there was an awareness as it was happening. I'm like, the words that I'm saying, I'm afraid I'm going to die, don't leave. And me in the fetal position, like something landed. I wasn't I didn't have the language. I didn't have the lingo of this field of work that I'm so passionate about now. But I had an awareness of like, I am a little baby right now. Something has just taken over my body. Yeah. I am not an adult or a man right now. Like I'm a little baby. I'm like, okay, there's something here. And then I remember like this, this led to such a journey of shit, I need support. I need help. And so this led me to not men's work right away, but it led me to a vulnerable place of like, I'm at rock bottom. I'm watching thoughts dance through my mind that are telling me to kill myself. I have no connection because I've lived such a codependent experience here that I've pushed all the people away out of my life and completely leaned on this one person. So now that pillar is gone, it's like I've got nothing except for myself and everything that I've created, and that my material that I live with, that I get the opportunity to work with in this life. And so this led to, I'm not gonna listen to these thoughts. I'm not gonna kill myself. So there's got to be another way. And I remember it was something that Oprah had shared that was super vulnerable about her journey that inspired me. She talked about this moment that she just like dropped down to her knees and was like, help, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I remember that just hit me. I was like laying on my bed, just dark thoughts. And I was like, help. And I was bawling, like just taking in and actually feeling the experience of where I was at, of like, I have no idea what I'm doing, help me. It was actually, I think it's Shawn Mendes' song, it's not in my blood came on.
Okay.
And it just like spoke to my soul. And it was like this thing of like, no, it's like, it's not in my blood to end this. Like, I'm going to keep going. And I felt it like ignite a fire within me. And I knew it was in there. The reason I'm sharing this story is it was my rock bottom. It was my rock bottom and my vulnerability to accept what was true and what I created and what's manifest, to be like, I'm in the power seat here. I can do something about this. I need to get help. And then it led to, you know, finding healers and like soul coaches and you name it. And then fast forward, that ended up evolving into, God, I wish I'd found this in the beginning. And I trust the whole unraveling process is that's what led to the men's work. And that's a lot of what I do see walk in the door sometimes of they've hit rock bottom. Their relationship has ended. They are terrified inside of themselves. They have no direction. They have no purpose, like you spoke to, like this man that's in your life. It's like no direction, no purpose, no resources, and no modeling of like, what the fuck do I do? How do I don't even know how to be a man? Like, that's another version that comes in of like rock bottom, and they start searching, like, I don't know, like some sort of help. And then usually somebody like, you know, encourages, hey, you know, I've heard there's this men's work, you should go try it out. And it's usually through word of mouth. And then the other really cool way, this is one of my favorites, is just being out in life, having connections. It's kind of what sparked this interview for us to have this conversation of like connecting with other people. And then we're like, hey, there's something there. I'm curious, like, what is it that you do? What's in your life that's creating this experience that's, you know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but how I experience it with other men that inspired me. And like, there's something palpable. I don't know what it is that they're doing in their life, but I need to know more. And I want to be a part of it. I don't know what it is, but like, fucking sign me up. I'm all in. And so like, there's some men that I meet that it's like, we have a conversation and this gives me chills. They're able to feel the safety. We usually end up sharing something really vulnerable. And then it's like, oh, I usually get the hit or the whisper, like invite this person into men's work. Like, they would get so much from this. And then reflect that. And they're like, oh, what? And then, you know, next thing you know, they're at men's work because they can feel an example or a model that their soul is actually craving for, that they know is out there, and they're ready to move towards it. And that is so much courage. It always even brings up emotion. It always touches my heart when it's that man that walks through those doors, because I know how much terror is in there. It's like so frightening to move through all of those coping mechanisms that are like within the body that, you know, have been in like, you know, I'm tough, I'm strong, all these beliefs that you named. It's like, I'm tough, I'm strong, I don't, you know, real men don't feel their feelings, all these conditioned delusions. And it's like moving through that anyways, being like, okay, I have no idea what this is going to be. There's a lot of really empowered men, and okay, I guess we're all hugging and sharing our feelings. Shit.
But that's like but that is strength.
Oh, that is.
Like that and like, and to women, right? We're just like, ooh, like we love that. We love seeing that. Like that is fucking bravery. Like a man that is afraid and steps into it anyway. Like, you know, we love the protection aspect of the relationship with the masculine, right? And like all of those physical aspects, but like the willingness to get vulnerable and to fucking heal and change those patterns, like that is what we were all begging for, right? And I think on both sides, right? Like men who are doing the work are looking for women who have done the work as well, right? And and you know, I really see like what you mentioned about the wanting to end the patterns, that being such a key archetype. Like that was definitely for me as well. And as you were sharing your story of your rock bottom, there was so many similarities with the last relationship that I was in and how it ended, because it was extremely abrupt as well. It was literally a text message being like, I'm gone. And that was it. And I came home to like an emptied out house. Like he literally took the soap out of the shower. It was wild. And I was at
You
my
can't even clean yourself up.
oh
I'm
man,
just gonna push you off the cliff, and it's
it just disappeared and was like, I'm not
yeah.
talking to you about this. I'm just leaving, like complete
Ouch.
ghost. Yeah, it was wild. But a similar scenario where I was at my grandma's and I got the text and I collapsed to the floor and just in the fetal position and just sobbing.
Yeah.
And my grandma came running in and was like my grandma had to pick me up off the floor, you know? Like, so I get that. And when your biggest wound is abandonment, which was a really big one for me as well, so much stuff comes up. So much stuff comes up. And we do create these patterns. And so many of us have experienced such pain in relationship. And you get to a point where you're just like, never again, you know, like I physically don't think I can handle going through that again. It destroyed my nervous system, destroyed it. It, you know, and I'm grateful for the healing journey and all of that. And I was a participant in that, right? Like I attracted that situation. I understand the role that I played in that, but never again. And it's interesting because for me, I've actually chosen, you know, I kind of did dating apps a little bit and I was sort of seeing someone a little bit after that relationship, but I've been almost celibate for like 4 years. And there's nothing in me that is like chasing. I've been wholly dedicated to just healing. And I'm just like divine timing, you know, like when it happens, it happens. I'm never chasing again. I'm never trying to force something to happen. No part of me is going to be part of like, you know, the manipulation that the feminine can do sometimes, or like putting ourselves in situations where we're just like out of alignment because we have these needs that need to be met, right? We're showing up in a way that is just, you know, covering up wounds. And I'm like, as long as it takes, I don't care. But I would rather be in a space where I'm alone and working on myself and building my community and having amazing relationships with women and having male friends and stuff. But, you know, our energy doesn't lie, right? And so I want to be at a level of frequency that is going to allow a counterpart to come in that is a match. And I want somebody healed. So I had to heal myself, you know? Yeah. And as long as that takes is as long as it takes.
Yeah. That gives me chills just hearing you. And it's like, it's such a testament to health and that wisdom within your nervous system and feeling where that place, it sounds like, you know, and if this doesn't resonate, please speak up. But I'm really hearing that there was a self-realization or an attunement to self, that situation was overwhelming. And I'm going to take the amount of time and space and like relationship to the outer world as long as I'm going to need in order to find what your truth is and attract from that place of like, I'm going to have all of me online in relationship to, you know, another person. And I'm, you know, what I witness in so many people that I work with and I'm feeling in what you share is like, I'm going to know where my yeses and nos are. I'm not going to abandon myself. I'm not going to caretake you. I'm not going to lean. Well, I'm not going to say yes, or I'm not going to accept the old way of relating in a way where we just lean on each other and dependent on each other. And yeah, I'm not going to accept what that leads to, which is just more separation. Because really, when we're like leaning on each other that much, it's like you're so disconnected to self. And we need to like find that seat within self first and move from there. And something that really touched me in your share there is like where your grandma held you. So it's like, here's this event that leads to you on the floor at your most vulnerable time. It's like your dark night of the soul. And in right order, the relationship showed up, which is the elders, so it's quite beautiful to feel that place where it's like the ancient wisdom is that. It's like that is what the role of the grandmother would be available for, is like, oh yeah, I can hold you here. And then you experiencing that place of like, oh, I'm going to move from there of like, and I love the words that you shared there of like, I'm not going to chase anything. I'm not going to like chase anything or grab onto anything. And that's such a key piece of like continually doing the work. And a lot of what you're sharing resonates for me too, is like, I remember finding so much connection with myself as like, I'm just devoted to healing, man. Like, I'm just like going to all the retreats. I'm going to Date with Destiny with Tony Robbins. I'm just like, I'm going to all the things and meeting all the people, which was so cool because it's in those experiences where I would actually get reflections back of who I really am. In a codependent relationship where we're leaning on each other, you don't actually get an accurate reflection. We're just reliving trauma and want that person, really what it is wanting that person to parent that place in us that longed for the love from one of the parent roles, like craving that love. You're like, maybe if I just keep changing and abandoning these parts of myself, this person will touch that void that lives in me. And it's like, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. It's not good. It's like a drop in the bucket. It's not meant to happen in that order. It's not meant to happen in partnership. It's meant to happen in friendships, in actual containers where that is the agreement, so that that maturity and that evolution can come in online, and then attracting partnership from there. And I know that was a game changer for me. It's like going out into all these events and actually starting to build friendships and relationships and practicing the feelings, practicing the traits, and like attracting relationships from that place is just going to perpetuate the same story over and over again. But then building a relationship with these people that are met in those environments where it's really, when you look at the evolution of a child, it doesn't just go to partnership. It goes from learning how to be in a body, getting the needs met from the parents that are in the right role, being guided, being led, staying safe, keeping alive, having boundaries. And then as they get older, they're like, oh, if it's done in a good way, I'm really clear on who I like to be around and who I don't like to be around. What are my interests? I like art, or I like sports, and it attracts like-minded people, and not necessarily like-minded as, hey, we're the same, but like we can be in the same space together and be curious and open and evolve, which then leads to, once you hit that healthy evolution and the hormones, sexual hormones start to emerge, now you can attract a relationship that's actually going to be healthy and reciprocal. That's a whole new thing.
I know.
And I know that. And because it's like, for me, I remember this place of like, then you can actually meet these people. And when that energy starts to come in of like like, oh, this person wants partnership, you can actually, the empowerment of checking in, and I want to hear from you here. It's like checking in of like, hey, I'm totally cool with a friendship here, but that's it right now. Like I'm choosing myself right now. And how I related it during that stage of my journey of like, and I still work with this whenever it happens, is like being so clear in myself with like, this is a friendship. This is how a friendship looks in a healthy way. That means really like clear and transparent and boundaried. Like that is true love. And like navigating from that place, that's just a whole new thing where we don't have to unconsciously attract the same thing over and over and over just to be shown, oh, it isn't from the other person. It's like what I get to bring to the other person and what I can actually receive from them in the relationship, because I'm in touch with what I've got, and I'm in touch with what really feels good for me to let in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be new territory for me because I haven't even really dated, to be honest. Like
Mm.
there, you know, there were a couple scenarios. One of them ended up being quite unhealthy, where I was just like, really, Krista, have we learned nothing? Like, really? Like, okay, we're clearly not healed enough yet. Let's wait. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, you know. And I think I will just know because, you know, when you're coming from an unhealed place, like there's just so much, like so many hormones going on, you know, like
Let's procreate.
yeah. And what I've heard from my friends who are in healthy relationship was like there was just so much ease and like calm around it, you know.
Mm.
There wasn't like that, oh my God, like I have to have them and da 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 and like all this stuff going around like that. That is something that I definitely will know to watch out for. I know to watch out for. And I think just taking it slow, you know, just like really get to know someone, really lean in to see where integrity's at, you know, like these little tests that I think are really important to do and, you know, throughout the dating process. It's so many times, especially for women, like we just jump right into a relationship and it's not something that I'm interested in doing this next time, you know, like I really want to get to know somebody before moving to any of the next levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So wise.
Mm.
That's so wise. Orienting in that way because you named it. There can be such a pull and an attraction. And I want to put language to that too of like without a certain level of healing, it's just pure trauma bonding.
Yep.
And that in that trauma bond, it's like, oh, it's just wanting that nervous system wanting what was missing so bad from the other person. But that's just where the shadow comes out so prominently. Usually not at the beginning. It's like, oh, it's like usually really euphoric and like, oh my God, you're my everything. And sometimes, yeah, that can evolve into something healthy, but usually that's a big red flag of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I need to look at something here and just be mindful. Doesn't mean you can't still move forward, but holy, the amount of attractions I've had from that place. Because really, it's like, it's our nervous system's orienting to the desire to heal. And so moving into a relationship where it's like, you're going to show me that relationship so intimately that I haven't resolved. It's like you're either going to go down the same rabbit hole of unconsciously playing out the patterns, or you're going to be like, wait a minute, this is familiar. Okay, new choices, bit of space. And then, yeah, really claiming like, you know, something you spoke to earlier too is like, what I felt from you is when you started to share what it invoked in you, hearing about men doing their work. And it's like the more men do their work, and it's like you said it, it's like some of the qualities you talked about is like we want to, you know, we want to see that you can take responsibility, that you can do your work, and we want to be provided for, want to feel safe. And it's like, oh, and that can actually be offered. So that's the whole new way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is. You know, it's so funny. I heard a reflection from one of the women to you at my cabin the other week when we were all hanging out after the event. And I remember her being like, like, I wanted to thank you so much for showing me, because I guess she's had, you know, relationship patterns dating Aries men. You mentioned you're an Aries sun.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I just wanted to thank you because, like, you know, you've given me a whole other perspective on like how an Aries man can be, right? And in my mind, I'm just like, he does the work, right? Like it has nothing to do with the astrology. It's like he's just done the work. And then I had a call with another woman who was there too, and she commented, she's just like, oh, Mike's energy, like she's like, okay, can there just be more men like that? You know, like, how is this even possible? Or like, and I think just meeting, for women, just meeting men that have done the work, like it just does something to our nervous system where we're just like, oh, you know, like this is what we're all craving, you know? So if there's any guys listening to this that are like, oh, what's in it for me? Like, so much,
So much.
so much.
So much. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for speaking to that place. And it just touches me. It's getting chills through my whole body. Yeah, it's such an honor to be in a place where an outside reflection is safety. Like, oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay, that's the benefit of doing the work, is working through all those places that wanted to take unconsciously or consciously, like wanted to take from the feminine. It evolves into a place of like, how can I give to the feminine? How can I show her that all of her is welcome? And there's nothing I'm going to, out of integrity, hold or want from in an unhealthy way. It's a better way I can put it. It's like, you can bring all of yourself and trust me that I'm just going to be presence. I'm going to presence it. I'm here with you, and it's an honor to witness what's moving through you. I feel like that's the benefit of the men's work, is it builds the capacity to be a safe container. It's really, I think, what's needed so much in the dynamic between the masculine and feminine. And this isn't like, I'm just speaking through my experience. This is like, this translates to whatever sex and gender identification. But how I use these words, because it's what relates to me, it's the polarity. Is that polarity and those roles are needed. It's like, for me, as the roles of the masculine is, I'm building my container bigger. The deeper I go into myself, and the more I can hold these tender places, the more I can hold the bigness and the movement of energy moving through the feminine, my feminine being Courtney. And, and in a different way, in the women that I work with in the containers, it's like, I can presence what's here, because I've done that for myself and I've had that held for me. And it's like, in that space, you named it, and it's what a surreal experience to be continually having, is how much healing is happening for the feminine, masculine too, but really in my life it highlights with the feminine healing happening, just being in relationship and proximity to me doing my work. It's not like, like, yes, there's the gifts and the essence of who I am, and really it's like, there is safety in my field to a level. I always have, I've got my deeper layers, and so, it's an onion, but there has been enough work where I can acknowledge that there is safety here, which the women are craving for. Then all those younger parts, the little girl, can come pouring out, which, like, oh, this is what we're needing more of on both sides.
Yeah.
We need this, as the masculine, like, I'm needing the feminine to be able to see through my mechanisms, call me out where my shadow is, and then to hold the tenderness that lives within me and be like, I trust your process. And then vice versa is like, now for the feminine, what I witness so much of is, hey, let me see that you're doing your work, that you are a man, that you are capable, that you are safe, you can provide room for me to discover myself continually. And it's forever changing. Can I bring all of you? Can I bring those most tender places that do have needs, that don't like how things feel, that do want things to slow down? Like, can the masculine respond to them? And I feel like this is the terrain that we're so learning. This is like a whole new learning terrain of like, how do we actually support each other? Because the benefit, of doing the work, it really just brings in so much more relationship. It brings in so much more it's the environment for more intimacy. And I haven't met another person, unless they're just like in so much survival mechanism, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want to feel like more loved, more cared about, more seen? I think that's the root of all of us. We want to be more connected, welcome, belong.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and there's work to do on both sides. We're talking about men a lot here, but
Yeah.
women are graced a little bit more with the communication skills, but it is still tough, right? Like even if you've done the work, like you're still going to come up against triggers. Relationships are mirrors. Like there's always going to be stuff to work through, but you want to be in a container that feels safe, right? That's the biggest thing. For me, relationship has always been, if there's a concern that's voiced, it's stonewalling, it's abandonment, it's all of these things, right? So it was just always very, very unsafe to voice anything. And that can be experienced by men as well, right? With women that don't want to have the conversation, or they don't have the coping mechanisms, or they feel that being called to relate in a different way is threatening, right? They don't want to look at those pieces. That's where, actually making that leap to look at those places is the highest form of like bravery and integrity, I think.
Totally.
That's how we heal.
Yeah, it really is how we heal. It's in relationship. Really, when you look at the root of all wounding, it's relational rupture.
Yeah.
Which creates an inner experience of separation. And so where the rupture happens is where the repair needs to happen. It's in relationship. And this is what I really challenge with some of the modalities out there, which I do feel is spiritual bypassing. It's like you can meditate yourself for years, like meditate with yourself in the mountain. But really, when you hear the stories of these gurus, it's like they had mentorship, which means they were in contact with another person. It's always the relationship that brings in more health. It's like finding the right relationships where there is safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I saw you had a post, and I didn't look too deeply into it because I wanted to just ask you about it.
Yeah.
And it's about attracting your dream partner.
Oh yeah.
So say you're me.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm ready. And I
Yeah.
talked about this already a little bit, and I'm just like, yeah, it's all energetic. But like, what would you say? Like, how do you attract your dream partner in your point of view?
Yeah, totally. It's such a good question. I love that you're asking it. I feel like the simple statement of like doing personal work is the only way to attract your dream partner.
Yeah.
And then to go off of that deeper is getting so in touch with yourself that the clarity that is moving from your soul and your heart just shows who you are meant to be in partnership with. Like, what are the qualities? Like getting really clear on what are the qualities I want to co-create life with. And this is something that I did before I called Courtney in, and we called each other in. It was very intentional. I'd done all this personal work. And then it led to like a checklist of like, I can feel who's in my field. Like in order for me to fulfill my mission and the person I'm going to spend like the most life with, like what are the qualities that they will need to have, or that I am just feeling I'm needing to be in proximity with for me to bring more of myself to life, to my mission. And so there's a few things here. Who I work with the most, it's this block of like, hey, I can feel like I'm clear on who I'm wanting. Like I can feel that there's someone out there for me. Maybe there's clarity or not around like, these are the qualities that I want from the partnership, but it's just not happening. It's not being attracted. It's the same old pattern. It's the same men or women that are being attracted, and it's just painful. And so it's like, oh, I'm just going to hang out here alone. Whenever I witness that, my invitation is always there's a couple things here. It's the work that I do, first of all, is building containers that are safe enough for the younger material to reveal itself, to be seen, heard, and felt, and heal, that this just does organically attract your dream partner. Because once we heal our younger parts, our twin flame or whatever you want to call it that lands for you is like this person you really would love to be in life with. And you will have an openness and a willingness to grow and evolve together, because that means like in a healthy relationship, it's the ultimate surrender. Every day you're committing, like the way I look at it anyways, is every day I wake up, it's like, who are you today? Can I fall in love with and be curious on who you are today? Because every day in the spiral and in consciousness and evolution, it's like it's different. It's always changing. And so I really encourage getting support, whether that's, ceremony spaces, it's being in relational containers, which is the work that I do, holding space to get really curious of what is needing to come up, held, supported, guided, to then move in the direction of that partnership. And then a lot of educating on some of this language, and everyone's going to find their own avenue that resonates. And doing that personal work reveals so much of why some partnerships, because this is the thing, is so many people like, I'm so clear on what I don't want. Like, oh, that person and that person. But it's like, no. In the root of all muck is gold. So like, what is the gold what's the information in that relationship that is still needing to be extracted and understood to know more parts of self here, to then move in a new direction of like, oh God, yeah, that's the relationship I had with my dad. God, I'm still playing that out. And then once that loving awareness, at least Ram Dass says that loving awareness, once that loving awareness is there, new pathways reveal themselves. And I'd say, this was when we were at the New Human event and we were talking with Mark Groves. He nailed it too, is like, and we were having this conversation about somatic therapy. Any modality of healing, in my opinion, is useless without somatic therapy, without somatic information. It's like working with the nervous system and the traumas that are stored in the body in the forms of freeze, shut down, numbness, collapse. Until those have enough holding, they can't mobilize into greater health, into something new or different. So often it'll be like, oh, if I mentally do these things, it's like I'll have that partnership that I want. And kind of the key point of my post there is like, get really clear on what it is that you want. But instead of focusing so much of I want this, focus on who would be in partnership with somebody that is that. Who do I have to become? What are the ways that I need to be supported? What are the ways that I need to expand my, understanding? Like, what books do I need to be reading? What environments do I need to be putting myself in to build what I call tone or capacity to be in relation with something that dreamy? Like the dream partner is a dream. And guess what? The uncomfortable truth of it's going to be uncomfortable. That means like doing the work, growing and evolving. And it's all the time. So to get into it quickly, it's like somatic therapy, I'd say, is the number one tool to actually mobilize and move towards that relationship that's wanted. And then it's looking for the people that can support and coach or guide into a new experience. So finding where that resonance is of, hey, like what this person is saying, like maybe it's said 100 times from different people, but where that resonance is with the message that's coming through, like moving towards that, buying their books, following their channel, listening to their podcasts, and discovering like, what is it about them that I'm needing to learn more about, that I'm needing to become more of.
Yeah.
Does that answer?
Yeah, it sure does. And I want to dive more into somatic therapy on this podcast. We can't get into it on this episode, but I think that's where Courtney's going to have to come on and we will discuss it, because we were chatting about that a little bit when we were hanging out last time. And I was like, ooh, okay, there's really, really good stuff here.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
For people who might be listening that are currently in a relationship and might be in a situation where they're just like, you know, would really love my partner to start engaging in men's work. Do you have any tips to make that invitation, not make it land, but like just make it easier for that to kind of land, to be heard, right? Like what does an invitation look like?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's an uncomfortable answer that comes before the one I'm going to give.
Mm.
And that is, can you receive the potential mirror and question, am I doing my work? And am I a part of some sort of support system where I'm growing and evolving, where I am looking at these places in myself that I can take responsibility for?
Yeah.
So like if it's a woman looking for a man and they like really want their man to show up, like maybe they're in a situation where it's like they're quite healthy, they're resourced, they have a sisterhood, they've got lots of friendships, they're clear in what their dharma and their purpose is, they're so present with their children, but it's like their partner, they look over on the couch and like, dude, like something has to change. I'd say in that situation where it's like first tuning in with self, because it's really easy, and this is why I wanted to start with this, is it's really easy for us to project that we have the answers for the person that's triggering something in us.
Yeah.
And there is a healthy discernment of like, no, actually, this person does need to do their work. And it's never anyone's job in a relationship to fix the other person to feel better.
Yeah.
And so tracking if that's what's happening first. And then if it's like, no, I'm good, it's like, great. If you're good, keep doing your work. Amazing. And like, keep doing your work, keep doing your work, keep doing your work. That might mirror or reflect back to that person. Oh, it's time to change. And I'd say the thing that I lacked in my last relationship that my soul craved for. So I want this like highlighter all over this. Whether you're a female or a male in partnership, the greatest gift you can give your partner is to reflect back how you are feeling in relation to them. How are you being impacted by being close to them and what they're moving or what you perceive as them stuck in or struggling in? And what your fear is of what that would lead to. Vulnerability is always the way to break open to the partner's heart. So what is happening here? Can you open enough and be real of like, I feel afraid of this relationship and this dynamic. You know, this would be an example. I worry or I have a fear that if some other layer of support doesn't come in, like if you don't start getting help or joining some sort of men's circle, if this is from a woman, like I don't see how we could continue to move forward.
Yeah.
Because then it's just bringing in truth. It's like, hey, it's like you're expressing, this isn't feeling good. This isn't working for me. And it's giving the person the opportunity to find their sense of empowerment and make a choice for that relationship. And it can be done in many different ways, different conversations, different examples. And it's always, I'd say always, if it's gonna shift, it's through what's happening here. I'm gonna start to need to make more, different decisions. Maybe it's I'm gonna have to start spending more time with my friends. I'm gonna have to start focusing my energy other places. Like if things don't shift, like this isn't something I'm willing to accept. Like I feel sad. And then this is the other place too, is like really sharing what is wanted. Like the masculine, if it's in this way, the masculine loves to hear what the feminine longs for. What's the vision that's moving through the feminine? Like, what are you wanting to experience more of? Is it more playfulness, more experiences, travel? Do you want to feel like that man closer? Do you want to, create something together, bringing in like, where's that love and that joy inside that's longing for something and expressing it in a way of like, I want more of you in this way. Not
Mhm.
Okay, buddy. Like, and sometimes it does. Sometimes there is
Mhm.
there is a benefit of getting so in that fire and that fierceness of like, you need to go get help, or like, sometimes it does come up that way. And that's it's beautiful too. And from a conscious place, hey, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling really disappointed of where we're at right now.
Mhm.
This is not what I envisioned when we first got together. Like, I feel, yeah, I'm grieving. I feel sad. I feel shame that this is where we've ended up. It's like really
Mhm.
bringing in truth that's safe and vulnerable, because then it's like, oh, vulnerability almost always will invite vulnerability. And then
Mhm.
it dilutes that defense mechanism of defense, because usually there's so much protective mechanism in front of what the wound is deep inside, that
Mhm.
it's like, if it does come forward too quickly, the nervous system will defend it and protect it, what the wound is deep down, that will
Mhm.
heal in the container. So if it's like, hey, I see this in you, already the walls are up.
Totally.
You're having a
Totally.
sword fight. Jay Shetty said it beautifully of like, if it comes in you statements, you're just having a sword fight. It's sword for sword. It's like,
Yeah.
you want to drop the swords. It's like, not you. It's like, me. What's happening here?
Yeah.
I would love to see you get support because I'm worried about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Language like that.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And then I think also being mindful, because I've had this experience before and I've seen this happen a lot with friends as well. And this can happen on, either end of the dynamic. But oftentimes there can be like a bid, and then there's
Mhm.
um kind of like okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but no
Ah,
follow through, right?
totally.
So I think that's where the practice and boundaries, and this is definitely where I fell short in my last relationship, because I would kind of like I would make these bids, and I would, try to be as eloquent as I could and
Mhm.
through it with the least amount of like you statements and all of that sort of thing. And I would get met with, okay, yeah, I'll look into that. But it just never happened. Right.
Yeah.
And it was enough to just pacify my anxiety at the time. And then I was like, okay, there would be like a bit of repair that would happen, but then the behavior would just continue. Right.
Yes.
And, but that was an invitation for me to say no, you know?
Mhm.
And I'd never really left a relationship. I'd always been left. I was always creating a situation where abandonment was inevitable, right?
Mhm.
Because I would give the feedback being like, this behavior is unacceptable. And, I would choose people that just weren't willing to work on themselves or to change. And so it would just end up being like, okay, well, I'm never going to be able to reach these expectations of this woman. So I'm just going to disappear.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's something to be mindful too of, is like, don't wait for it to get to that point. Right. Like, if your work is to exercise boundaries, and it doesn't have to be like a hard ultimatum, but for me, like, there definitely should have been, right. I needed to stand up for
Mhm.
myself and make a choice to leave, because that person was invited many, 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 many times
Yeah.
to meet me at a place that I needed them to, and it didn't happen. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's where my work was for sure.
Yeah, that's such a brilliant piece too. And this is a discernment. So it's like really bringing in that request or highlighting, like, hey, I'm really needing something to change. And you named it. I'm so glad that this came up. Is often the partner, there's so much brilliance in there in the coping mechanism or the
Mm-hmm.
defense or that survival. It's like, I will do anything to survive. Tell them all the right things. And
Right.
it's like, they'll say all the right things that it does appease. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, and then, okay, nice. I'll just keep hanging on because I'm so drawn into their story.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, you named it as like the capacity to discern what is actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
Are there new behaviors? Are there changes that are happening? Because if not, I'd really invite in that place. If it was somebody I was working with or somebody tuning in, that's where I would invite more space.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you have to go right away. It's like, you trust your own process, but really it's like, okay, well, in healthy relationship, if boundaries or requests and needs aren't honored, the healthy thing to do is take a step back
Mm.
into yourself, because the greatest gift you're giving for the person on the other side is you might be in an enabling role. You might in like
Mhm.
as you continually buy into this story,
Yep.
like your role as enabler might be just feeding this wound in this story, and it's like this experience over and over and over. If
Mm.
you just start to take space, generally the person will start to squirm and be like, oh no, and it'll motivate them to make a change, because they're not just going to keep getting what it is that's serving them.
Mhm.
It's such an important piece right there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, keep taking that space, and understanding boundary is one of the most loving acts that you can bring into relationship.
Mm.
It's saying like, I love myself so much that I'm not going to feed this,
Yeah.
this pattern that I see happening for you. And I'm not going to join that either. We're not going to go down the hole together. Like I'm standing for love and I'm choosing love, and
Mm.
you can join me or you can't. And then, then it's like, if the steps are being taken and then the space is created and it's like nothing's changing, the words that's like you can just predict it, like, oh, here's the story again.
Yeah.
Oh, and then track, oh yeah, this is where I believe it, this is where I just keep showing up, keep not being met, and then it's like, oh, I'm abandoning
Yeah.
myself here. So it's like, oh, something I'm so grateful for. It was the most painful experience in my life, one of the most painful experiences of my life that I can remember. But when my ex-wife left, it liberated me,
Mm.
because it helped me. There's a women, men, there's a kinder way to do it. I don't
Yeah.
encourage them to just walk out.
Yeah.
As you know, it's
It's horrible. Yeah.
recapitulating the trauma. It's not
Yeah.
kind.
No.
It's not helpful.
Nope.
And still beauty can come from it. This is,
Yes.
where perseverance and resilience comes in. But I want to highlight, like, yes, it served me. And I hear, yes, it has served your growth and evolution. But really, we're wanting to bring in a new way of more transparency, more vulnerability, conversations about what is happening,
Mhm.
that if it does lead to an ending of a relationship, let's really care about that person. Unless there's like physical harm and abuse, like get out of there for
Yeah.
sure. There's scenarios where that is necessary.
Mhm.
But it's just an invitation, because yeah, really, when we start to show up in these different ways and have these conversations and have these discernments of like, hey, this isn't working for me,
Mhm.
creating that space, that person can actually receive that reflection. So I digress. That's the greatest gift that I got out of that experience, is like, I got a reflection back from life. Oh, Mike, this is what you've created. I didn't really see the
Mhm.
whole picture because I was so lost in the story and the unconscious movement through my nervous system. But it's like, I needed reflection back. I need it. I
Yeah.
can't be in partnership or friendships where I'm not getting some feedback
Yeah.
of like, there's a shadow running the ship right now. There's a little boy driving the ship and he's stoked on where he's going and he's gonna wants everyone to come with him. It's like, that's not actually gonna help the village.
No.
Like, hey buddy, like, let's just check in with where you're going to that, and like, let's make sure everyone's welcome, everyone has, everyone's needs belong here, and
Yeah.
it's not about like, I've got the way, we're all going. Deep down, it's not what we actually want. We want to
No.
all have a place at the table. We all want to have a seat in the circle.
Yeah.
To circle back to the men's work, that's what it really is about for me. If I want to take my seat in the circle, take up that space when it's my turn in the role that I play there. And I want to be really curious on who I'm sitting next to and in front of. Like,
Mm.
what are they bringing to the circle? What can I learn from that?
Mhm. Mm. I love that so much. One thing that just popped into my head
Yeah.
was, how we both experience like these pretty traumatic abandonment
Yeah.
scenarios. I self-abandoned through that entire relationship. Was that a theme for you as well? And in that relationship that you're in?
Unconsciously, yes.
Yes.
Like when I
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
started to do my work and would look back, I'm like,
Yeah.
abandon myself here, abandon
Yes.
myself here,
Yeah.
caretaker role, people pleaser.
Yeah.
Like, it was just giving my power away.
Totally.
Yeah,
Isn't
for
isn't
sure.
that interesting how that experience? Oh wow, yeah. The self-abandonment leading to like literal abandonment and then creating like manifesting all of those wounds and the trauma and stuff that then you have to look at, and it's just like so painful. So
Humbling,
painful.
right? So painful and so
Yeah.
humbling because
Yeah.
oh yeah, the abandonment of self in all those moments
Mhm.
will lead to being abandoned. And
Mhm.
as an adult, it's not abandonment. That's only what can happen for children, just to frame that and orient. It's like as children, yes, we can be abandoned, but as adults, we're making our choices. We're choosing who we're in relationship with. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, just don't abandon self.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily mean like it will manifest in an actual abandonment. I think for us, that's just kind of a
Yeah.
very interesting lesson that we have to
Yes.
go through. 'Cause I
Yes.
do see it in like, even like my parents, right? Like they're never going to break up. They'll be together forever, but it's not like
Yes.
it's to me, it's not modeled as like a relationship around growth and all the things. And there are definitely self betrayals and stuff. I think, along the way. And we see that in so many relationships though. Right. And
Yes.
there's just a whole new group of humans that are just saying enough to it. We're
Totally.
done. We're done.
Totally. Totally. And I'd
Yeah.
say too, I'd invite this, I really love this place too, of like maybe their partner's not abandoning them, but their dream is because they're not feeding it.
Mm, yeah.
When stuck in that codependent dynamic, it's like really what's happening is in the nervous system, it's shut down, it's freeze, it's collapse. And then it's like losing access to, I do have a vision and a dream that's moving from my heart, my soul that I want to put out in this world. And it's
Mhm.
collapsing into the, well, I'm with this person and this is what we're doing and we love each other and we're just going to keep showing up and we're committed. But that's what's then life will reflect back is, well, I'm not going to give you anything more than.
Mm.
Yes, that's what you're saying yes to, that's what you get.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's a more subtle, it's a subtle abandonment, but
Mhm.
it's also painful.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we're at time now,
Yeah.
but thank you so much for your
Yeah.
wisdom. And I could just keep going and going and going.
Me too. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. I've been so looking forward to this. I love this
Uh,
topic. And also thanks for bringing in your story, your wisdom, your experience. It's so refreshing what I feel you inviting
mm,
in this space with the conversations that you're having. And yeah, it's such an
thank
honor
you.
to witness all the work that you've done and are doing.
Mm,
Feeling that relationship move towards you in a way that's going to feel good and be reciprocal.
yeah. Yeah. I'm accepting nothing less.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so for people listening that want to know more and want to connect with you and maybe join a men's group, how can they connect?
Yeah. Anyone who's listening and there's resonance, like you want to know more, hear more, learn more, you can DM me on Instagram. That's the quickest way to get to me. Handles at Mike Elliott. That's ELLIOTT 808. And you can DM me there. Let me know that you heard me on this podcast. I'd love to hear where you came from. And another way you can tune in to actually work that my partner and I do is we do a lot of couples work. And so we have a podcast called Together on all the platforms. If you just type in Together and look for Mike Elliott, Courtney Wren Mabbitt, there's a lot of good content that we're releasing there. And yeah, that's it.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you again, my friend. And for anybody listening, if this episode resonated, make sure to share it. Hit me up on Instagram. My handle is magic with the ICK.maven. DM me, let me know what you thought of it, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks so much for sharing your time and energy with us today. We'd love to hear your feedback on how our podcast has impacted your life and are also open to suggestions for new and interesting topics. Please leave your comments with a quick review to help us grow this magical community of wellness warriors and light workers. Every month, we select one lucky reviewer to win our big magic box containing all 3 of our beautiful magic lattes. To connect with us further, check us out on Instagram at wild_remedies. Thank you again, and see you at the next episode.